It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. I'm Ron Hoon, and the pictures coming in from New York this morning are stunning. The partial collapse of a high-rise apartment building. Would you ever want to go back if one of your units was in this building? Look at this, would you? Firefighters right there on top. When we first heard about it, the fear was, oh my goodness, when you hear about a partial collapse, you think about something like that Miami condo a few years ago, but it doesn't look like there was any loss of life. There was just a massive explosion at about 8 o'clock this morning, New York time. And from what they're telling us, there was an incinerator shaft that collapsed. But hey, I tell you, as firefighters are literally up there on the roof, you have to believe that people who were in any of the nearby units, and again, it happened pretty early in the morning at about 8 a.m., that they looked at it and said, I think we're going to be okay. I mean, there would be plenty of buildings that were not built to this particular code, that if there were to be an explosion of that nature, it potentially could bring down the entire structure. And you have hundreds and hundreds of people that call this apartment complex home. It is in the Bronx, and their borough president said, no fatalities, no injuries. We have learned that this happened to the boiler room. So you're going to hear some of exactly what just got said in that news conference.
This morning, just after 8 a.m., the fire department was notified of an explosion. We responded in less than 4 minutes, and when our units got here, they alerted us to a major collapse of a structure attached to this building behind us. As you can see, numerous FDNY and EMS units responded to the scene. Luckily, as the mayor said, no one was injured. We ran our dogs over this pile of bricks that is behind us, which is the structure that collapsed. It is a ventilation shaft connected to the boiler, which collapsed. We believe that's where the explosion occurred.
It was a big explosion, and it's scary. It sounded like something blew up.
When you hear it, and what runs through your heart?
I'm very scared. I want to know what's going to happen with the rest of these buildings, because I hope it's not, the same condition.
I hear a big strength, like a bomb come inside, hitting the building. I hear twice. First one, and then the building started shaking, and I thought it was la tierra estaba temblando, and I say, oh my God, the war is ending.
Yeah, we were going up the stairs because the elevator wasn't working.
So what floor were you on?
We was on, going up to the first. Well, the impact, it's just I fell.
Well, what floor were you trying to get to?
We were trying to get to the sixth floor.
You thankful?
Yeah. Thank God I didn't go up the sixth floor or the elevator, because what if something would have happened? So I thank God I'm alive.
That is one thing that we have to check on. Were people stuck? What happened to the power when you have a massive explosion inside a building like that? I don't know if you've ever been stuck in an elevator. I made it through most of my life until about 2 years ago, and it is not a pleasant experience, that's for sure. But boy, they got their units out there fast. According to the commissioner, they were alerted that there had been a major structure collapse. And so everything seemed to work, considering how devastating it could have been. Everything seemed to work out just fine. So thanks for starting your morning with us. Now, I am just going to look in the chat because I hear from a family friend that we might have some new viewers in the UK this morning. Hey, look, it's a streaming show that's on YouTube. People watch all over the world. So if you're any of our new viewers in the UK today, please say hi, and we'll give you a shout out. And a big shout out, of course, for all of our regulars, from Charles David to Sherry Nevada Pup to Halakita and Darla Nicole Clapperton. We just appreciate all you guys. There's Troy on, Louis Gonzalez as well. All right, so the government is shut down. We don't think that you're going to feel necessarily an immediate impact, because so much of various government operations are required to continue to keep working. But our Danielle Miller has been looking into it this morning and joins us. Danielle, what have you been able to determine so far about where we stand and what's going on?
Yeah, well, what we know is that the Senate Republicans as well as the Democrats, nobody came to an agreement. And at last tally of the votes, it was 55 to 45. So that was not the 60 votes that were needed to pass this. Obviously, like anything, there has been a lot of back and forth. Everybody kind of blaming each other, saying that, this is the Democrats' fault. And then obviously on the Democratic side, they're saying it's the Republicans' fault. So
I'm so glad you brought that up, Danielle, because we actually rolled some sound just a little while ago this morning in terms of what was getting said. Let me jump in with that, and you can continue with your story. In fact, let me go to this
House
right
Republicans, Senate Republicans, we're all united on this. And what's interesting now is some of the Democrats are joining us. Our vote last night was a bipartisan vote. There were 3 Democrats that came over and voted with us because they know this strategy is a losing one, and it hurts the American people. It's not about who wins or who loses or who gets blamed in all this. It's about the American people. And they have taken the American people hostage in a way that they think benefits them politically, but at the consequence and the cost of what's going to happen to the American families if this government shutdown continues.
To remind everyone that they always said that shutting the government down would be dangerous, destructive, selfish, and irresponsible. And suddenly now they've changed their tune. Don't buy it. The American people are not buying it. Chuck Schumer was reminded of a New York Times poll that came out yesterday. 65% of respondents are saying to the Democrats, do not shut the government down if you don't get what you want. I think that number is going to rise dramatically as the pain increases, and it is the pain that they have caused.
The federal government officially shut down because Republicans failed to fix the healthcare crisis that they've created. This is a sad, serious, and somber moment for the country. Americans are already facing a dual affordability and healthcare crisis thanks to Donald Trump's tariffs and Republicans' big ugly law. And now, because Republicans refuse to come to the table and negotiate with Democrats, Americans can suffer even more.
The tariffs are making this bad economy even worse. So estimates have come out saying that the average American family is going to pay $2,500 more because of Trump's tariffs. And in terms of pharmaceuticals and healthcare, the reason that we are here today, Democrats, is we are fighting in D.C. to cancel the cuts, lower the costs, and save healthcare.
All right. So then, Danielle, let's just kind of continue with your reporting. Now we've heard the arguments on both sides, but stuck in the middle is anybody who relies on the federal government.
Yeah, and just what they were last mentioning there, that is what the Democrats want. They want more than $1 trillion for the Affordable Care Act tax credits. They want to restore cuts recently passed under the Republican-led Big Beautiful Bill. So there's a lot of back and forth, as you can imagine here. But yeah, don't really know 100% the effects of it right now. We do know that the main government entities will be staying open at this time. But the shutdown does mean that hundreds of thousands of federal workers could be furloughed. They could be laid off. Others could be asked to work without pay. So something we haven't really seen since 2018. That is the last time when the government was shut down. So that was during President Donald Trump's first term in office. Presidency. And, it lasted 35 days.
Yeah, and
which
Syleste
I believe is
joins
the
us
record.
well. I was surprised when I saw your report that it hasn't happened since 2018 because I feel like we're in this boat every couple of years.
I do. And I always feel like they get down to the wire. It's always,
They usually make a deal.
11:59, and then boom, they make a deal.
Yeah,
So
interesting. When we're looking at some of the numbers, this is something coming from CNBC Online. It says the federal government, of course, shut down today. And you mentioned it, Danielle, about the Obamacare subsidies. And what they're looking at is whether some immigrants should get those financial benefits. And so there's these argument on both sides. Republicans claim Democrats want to give health care to illegal immigrants. Democrats are saying, no, that's not entirely true. They're saying they want to restore health care coverage options that were available to immigrants having, quote, lawful presence in the U.S. Before the options were eliminated by President Trump's One Big Beautiful tax bill this year. So it's really kind of They're looking at the illegal immigrants or lawful, immigrants here in the United States and whether or not the healthcare coverage would apply to them.
And I think one of the things that people are wondering is, okay, well, how will it impact me? And so here is what you need to know. Social Security checks, they're still going to be landing. They don't do checks anymore, but the money's going to land in your account. Same for your Medicare payments.
The post service is up and running.
Say it again.
The post service. US Postal
Post
Service.
office, still going to be out there. You'll see your mailman today. Unemployment jobless benefits, they will continue to come through. The National Weather Service, those folks still are going to have to work. Now, look, you hope it doesn't go on very long because you don't want people missing a paycheck. But so the weather forecast will continue, and thank goodness, because there are a couple of storm systems that are brewing off the East Coast. Customs and Border Protection, DHS, ICE, etc. Now, maybe none of us have interactions with them, but what about the TSA?
Yeah.
They still have to show up. They have to keep working. And veterans medical care and veterans critical services are all also going to continue to operate. So, a sizable chunk of the everyday things that people rely on are just going to continue.
We do have, I have a girlfriend who works for the Department of Defense, and she works specifically for Indian Health Services. She says they're still working because, a lot of the tribes are protected in cases like this. We have a lot of Native American tribes in Arizona. So if you have family who is living on a reservation, or you in fact are of Indian heritage, your benefits will continue.
Yeah, some of the things they said are going to shut down right now are tours of the Capitol. Or the White House. And they said national parks are kind of on the fence right now, that they might be turning that over to the states to decide if they can have workers there or whatnot. But another stat is Arizona, we have 35,000 government employees. So
Federal.
Government employees, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, now it is going to impact, but I'd be so worried if I was a federal employee, because apparently the law does allow it to become either a furlough or a layoff.
Yeah.
And so we're going to wait to hear if something changes with that. We'll keep an eye on the White House today to see exactly what they're saying. Hey, coming up at 10:30, we've got an analyst who's kind of been looking at it in terms of, well, okay, so where do we go from here? That's going to be interesting. And also our poll question is on this very topic. So stay with us for all of that. But up next, we're going to Utah. They restarted the Turning Point USA college campus tour last night, and the report is coming right up. So mystery cam time first. Where do you have to go for this lovely river view? Thanks, Danielle.
You bet.
Okay, mystery cam guessers. To me, Celeste, this river looks so big.
Yes.
That I have to believe it's the mighty Mississippi. The only problem is it starts way up there in Minnesota. Minnesota, and then flows through a bunch of Midwestern states.
Right.
Eventually, you get down there and, you're talking about flowing across Mississippi, et cetera. But where, I mean, this could be Illinois. It could be Iowa. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go Illinois. And what do you think?
I think I'm going to go with someone in the chat. Okay. Louis Gonzalez said New York.
Okay.
And I kind of think I'm going to go New York.
Wow. Oh, that could be the Hudson. I see that.
Brandy the Bookworm. Yeah. I don't know if you were in here yesterday, Brandy, but I was looking for you. It's good to see your name popping up in the chat. She says this morning, my thingamajig, my chat just totally moved. Oh, she said Tennessee. Okay. Jenswell says Rhode Island. Okay. Sherry Nevada Pub says Texas.
All right.
But B. Miguel and Charles David says New York. What are you going with, Ron?
Well, I'm going to stick with my original guess, which, as I just mentioned moments ago, was right there. Did I go with Illinois? I think I did. Yeah, Illinois.
Welcome to Mom Brain, Ron.
Yeah, no
I'm like,
kidding.
what's happening? What's going? What's my name?
We also call it News Brain. Okay, I'm going Illinois, and you're going
New York.
Okay, here comes your answer, everybody.
Here it is, and it's Grafton, Illinois.
Holy schmolies! That's I know the rumor around here is that I win every day, but it's been a couple of weeks. I had a drought going.
Ron, we win every day because we get to hang with you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. We're so glad you're joining us. By the way, Celeste, I mentioned right off the top, I've heard through a family member who's traveling over in the UK that we might have some new UK viewers today.
Oh, wow.
So you guys identify yourselves in the chat and we'll say hi. We are a worldwide program.
Maybe they're watching from the pub with a pint on the counter.
Well, it is quitting time over there. It's already 6:15. But here in Arizona, it's 10:15. And up in Utah, our neighbors to the north, it's 11:15. We are going to check in with Scott McCane, who's going to join us now. So Scott was the reporter who got assigned the story yesterday. They're still reeling up there in Utah from just the horrific events at Utah Valley University. But if you're not familiar with it, you go about an hour south of Salt Lake City and you get into that Provo-Orem area. But if you go a little more than an hour north, you're going to be up around Utah State. Beautiful campus there in Logan, Utah. And Scott actually had a chance to cover the event yesterday, the restart of the Turning Point USA College 2025 campus tour. Scott, what were your impressions as you were there in Logan yesterday?
Hey, good morning, guys. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yep.
It was a fairly robust attendance, but the thing that was most noticeable right off the bat was very, very robust security, as opposed to the reports in the aftermath of allegedly what wasn't on hand at UVU. There was a very noticeable, not oppressive, but very noticeable police presence and a pretty good-sized crowd. Again, very much like Utah County, Cache County up in the Logan area. It's quite conservative. There were a lot of young people there, a lot of students. And this was all sort of kind of part eulogy for Charlie Kirk. It was also kind of a part youth Republican rally and also very pointed attempts to just make sure that these young people knew that even though Charlie's no longer with us, we want to keep this movement going. Go out, get off your phones, start a chapter. Do what you can to keep going what Charlie Kirk started. And it was, it was quite an evening.
Okay, Scott, let's share with our audience here your report from last night, and then we'll continue the conversation.
And in light of what happened less than 3 weeks ago down at UVU, security was extremely noticeable and extremely tight, both for those in attendance and for the media covering this event. Once folks got settled into their seats, there were several chants of Charlie, Charlie, along with a slideshow of some of his prior speeches. Then there was a roundtable discussion featuring Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona, former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz, and Utah Governor Spencer Cox. The governor essentially reiterating a slogan he's been abiding by for the past several years, that we all need to disagree better.
The prophet I believe in that just passed away for the past couple years has been talking about peacemaking and bridge building. And he very passionately believed that anger never persuades and that hostility never convinces anyone. But here's the connection I want to make. That is not soft. Peacemaking is not soft. It's the hardest thing you can do. And that's what Charlie understood.
Now, there were no outside signs allowed inside the Spectrum Event Center on Tuesday evening, but outside there were just a smattering of protesters, a couple of them holding up signs, one of them very much not in favor of the Turning Point USA event.
Okay, so yeah, then we get a chance, Celeste, to continue our conversation with Scott, who was there, during the event and before and after.
Yeah, Scott, thank you for your time today. Can you give us an idea, what was it like inside, compared to maybe one of the events where Charlie Kirk was present? It looks as though there was some good conversation to be had with multiple people as part of the panel.
Yeah, we were actually up there the day before talking with students. That was pretty much radio silence from those in positions of authority regarding security. They didn't really want to say much about that. But we talked to several students, and they were not concerned at all about safety. We also heard from several of them, even though it was a fairly decent crowd. Alex Clark announced that it was 6,500. But there were several students we spoke with that said, I was going to go, but now that Charlie's not here, I'll probably just watch, the highlights later or watch it online. But a good-sized crowd. The other thing we talked about security a little earlier. As we were driving up to the campus for the event, there was a building that was ordered to be cleared due to a suspicious package. Now, thankfully, it turned out to be nothing, but they were not taking any chances. They took, they called the old main building of Utah State and had it completely evacuated. A bomb squad was called in. They found the package. They detonated it. And, it turned out to be nothing. But, man, it was, they were taking absolutely zero chances.
Well, sure. And security is going to be tight, and that's so understandable. And they are going to be indoors from now on. But have you been able to gauge the popularity of Charlie Kirk and his movement there in Utah?
Oh, it's quite a popular movement here. It is, I've got younger adult children myself, and I've got my one son in particular. He has several friends that he went to high school with, and in particular of the LDS faith. And boy, he had friends of friends who were down at the UVU event. It is quite a popular movement here. Again, there were a lot of young people in the crowd last night. A lot of Freedom T-shirts. A lot of Make America Great Again hats. So it's definitely taken hold here in the state of Utah.
Okay, Scott, we appreciate your time and a great report. Hopefully, we can call on you again. Thanks again.
Take care, you guys.
Yeah. I actually had somebody in my text thread over last night, Celeste, tell me that, he just mentioned the members of the LDS faith. And there is, of course, we had that horrific shooting in Michigan. And there's now an online, it's either a GoFundMe or a Stop Give, there's an alternative there, where people of the LDS faith are now raising money for the Sanderson family, meaning the wife and the children of the shooter who committed that horrific act of violence. And I think it shows that people are trying to come together and calm the temperature down and act in a way where you really show your how you love your fellow man.
Absolutely. What a sense of compassion.
Yeah, so hopefully we can find out a little bit more about that effort as well. But right now, what we want to do is talk about Globe. Those folks up there have such a big cleanup job in front of them. And when we were up there yesterday, we heard some pretty strong feelings from a number of people who were saying, look, we need the help.
Really sad that people are going through this right now because it's horrible. We're really familiar with the insurance process. Our goal is to really help them navigate filing for the appropriate damages. You know, there's different ways that you can go about it.
We are able to catch things and know what to look for. I think it is a really overwhelming process, so having someone who's been through it before is very helpful.
That price was $30,000 annually to buy just flood insurance, not fire, not anything else.
The insurance companies set their insurance by those flood maps. Everybody knows creeks change, and everybody knows now that we have GPS, those maps are not correct.
I don't know the people at FEMA, and I don't know the federal people that we need to contact. I don't have phone numbers. All I got is these folks. So I got to go through them to say, look, you need to raise this up so that we can buy flood insurance.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of folks, Celeste, were saying they're frustrated that more has not been done to kind of maintain and improve the creek, which, of course, is prone to flooding. You've got a historic community there that was built more than, a lot of those buildings in downtown Globe are 100 years old. Well, it's a community that's been there for a very long time.
Well, that, and I believe there was a couple of wildfires up in that area, and they had some wildfire burn scars. Mm-hmm. So that, of course, is going to cause the water to flow even faster, right? And bring a lot of that mud and debris from those wildfires through. So you have those two situations that took place. We saw that up in Flagstaff on the, with a lot of the neighborhoods up there, and they saw similar flooding. There has to be a way that you would think there, either the federal government, local, state officials, something like that, would build up that area to kind of protect some of those homes around that flooded washway.
That feels like that would be an Army Corps of Engineers. Something that they could designate. We don't know what their status is today.
Yeah.
But yeah, they surely more can be done to protect both Globe and just slightly downstream Miami as well, because that's a kind of a narrow area there between the hillsides as well. Okay, so that's all coming up just in terms of our coverage today. We have, as I said, coming up right after the break, we're going to try to dig into where do we go from here with both sides digging in on this government shutdown? And then we're also going to get into the poll question. It's your chance. You can grab that QR code, or you can vote in the YouTube poll question. This is a simple one today. There's not even a third option. Where do you place the blame? We'll also hear from Big D. Big Dave.
Big
yes,
D.
it's all coming up. But first, a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back. It's 10:30, and we just keep rolling along this morning with all of our great viewers in the chat box. And so we appreciate you guys. That is for sure. Celeste, you've kind of been looking, one of the very big stories today is exactly what's going on with the shutdown.
Yes.
And we had thousands of votes yesterday. We're going to get to that in just a minute. And we also have a guest that we are lining up who has many years of experience, almost 50 years in business and government and public affairs. That's coming up as well. But what are you seeing just in terms of some of the comments?
So Sherry Nevada Pup shared a little bit of perspective. She said, the last time the government shut down, my whole life went upside down. Lost my job, forced to retire, almost lost my house, forced to sell and move. That is part of why I live here in Arizona. And something interesting also that she shared, she said, because I said, well, where did you move from? And Sherry Nevada Pup says California, specifically San Fernando Valley. She does say, though, and it's always like the silver lining, this was one of the best moves that, of her life.
We hear that so often,
I know.
right? People are so glad to be here, even with our hot summers.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. And if any of you guys in the chat box have any perspective on this, we would love to hear from you. By the way, so we are now going to join Steve Cotton. He's with Cotton Wealth Management. And as I say, he's got public affairs and government and business experience that lasts some 50 years. He's really kind of been digging into this as this day approached. Steve, good morning. What's your take on what's going on?
Well, this is probably one of the purest examples of pure politics in our system. This is not a shutdown that's justified on the basis of sound policy or even policy disagreements. This really stems from the fact that when we did the last so-called clean CR, Chuck Schumer opted to continue the government and voted for the clean CR, and he caught a lot of flack from his left wing of the party for it, to the extent that they were saying, well, we're just going to primary you in the next Senate primary, and we're going to run AOC or somebody against you because you're not sufficiently militant. And so he took a lesson from that, and this is really about protecting himself on his left flank, and he doesn't want to get primaried, and he's thinking this is the way that I can show that I'm, carrying the torch for the Democratic Party. But it wreaks havoc, as some of your listeners and viewers have said. It absolutely wreaks havoc on a personal level, particularly if they are laid off as a result of this dynamic. And I feel very bad for those people because it's very unfair.
Now, when it comes to the layoffs, where would you place the odds that this time around is not going to be furloughs, that there will be actual permanent job losses? And if that were to happen, kind of where, in these next few days would you expect to see it happen?
Well, every agency designates essential workers and non-essential workers. It's not that the non-essential workers are not important. It's just that they are not critical to the day-to-day functioning of certain key things, such as, FBI agents, law enforcement, military, etc. Each agency and each cabinet official is directing their department heads to make lists of, who's essential, who's non-essential. And I think it would be in some of these agencies, the non-essential workers that might start by being furloughed, but then might end up actually being their jobs eliminated. The administration has known for years, as the public has, that the government is still very bloated. And the DOGE effort was a good example or a good dynamic for trying to find the low-hanging fruit of fraud, waste, and abuse. And they found a lot. But we still have not thinned out the ranks of the government employees to the extent that it might be justified. Congress is really good about passing legislation and creating agencies and missions, and they're lousy about oversight. And so we've got agencies that have been around 40, 50 years or longer that have never been reviewed, have never been rejustified. And so I think the Trump administration is going to take this opportunity to do some of that. But I just worry about the impact on people.
Let's get your perspective on this question. We have a pretty active chat on YouTube, and one of the questions from AZ Raider here this morning says, I give a large part of the blame to the president. Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. As president, I feel it's part of their job to bring the two sides together, he says in his opinion. What are your thoughts on that, and how much power does the president have in this type of a situation where, it's really lawmakers, Senate Republicans and the Democrats all trying, they're working to put something together?
Well, for that to be true, you have to assume that all parties are operating in good faith, and there are times when they're really not. The Democrats under Schumer have made all kinds of demands to the extent of adding another $1.5 trillion of new spending in order to get their votes to do this deal to keep government operating. And the president's looking at a $37 trillion national debt, and so are the Senate Republicans and some of the conservatives in the House, and they're saying this is absolutely unsustainable. And they're right. If we don't bend the cost and the spending curve back down of this country, the country will literally go bankrupt and our currency will become worthless. And 70-80% of the federal deficit will be spent to merely service the debt. That is unsustainable. And so I think the administration sees that, the Senate Republicans see that, the House Republicans see that, but the Democrats are choosing not to become a partner in solving that problem right now. This is all about the primary in New York and Chuck Schumer's political future. But good people are going to be hurt in the process, and that's just wrong.
Steve, we really appreciate your input today. By the way, Syleste, I was just going to mention,
yes,
I'm known for having the messiest desk in the newsroom. So, Steve, I just wanted to call out your paperwork behind you there. You give me a run for my money, pal.
Well, we're the fallback if the federal government is ever nuked or fails or we have a fiscal disaster. I'm the fallback to the National Archives.
Yeah, we can see all those files behind you.
It's not stored on some cloud somewhere. All right, Steve, great to have you on the program today. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Steve.
So let's get right into it. I'm going to let Ronnie direct us here for the next couple of minutes because I'm not 100% sure what we've got. But this is our poll queue re-queue from yesterday. Are you worried about a government shutdown? The way it ended up with over 3,000 votes,
right?
Celeste, and this is on YouTube. 47% said nope. As long as the airports stay open, my checks keep coming, I am not worried about it. 40%, though, said I am. And why do we have to keep going through this over and over? And then the other option was 12%. I am a little worried about it, but they do always seem to get it worked out. The question is, how long will it take this time around?
Yeah, that's going to be a big question. I think a lot of people are a little concerned, obviously, over some of our federal services, but I think it'll hurt people the most if checks don't continue to get deposited.
That better happen. And honestly, they better keep the airports running.
Yeah.
Those are, I think, the two biggest ones. Now, today, now that it's happened, we have a whole new poll question for you. We're going to show you the QR code, and then we'll show you the new YouTube poll as well. But on QR, who do you blame? 78% of you are saying, I blame the Democrats because the GOP has a funding bill ready to go. It was already passed by the House. They're trying to get it across the finish line of the Senate. They have more than 50 votes, but in the Senate, you got to get 60. And so it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out. By the way, 22% say it's the Republicans' fault. I'm with the Democrats for more health care spending. QR code. We'll watch those numbers move around. Celeste, how about on YouTube?
Let's go with YouTube. Right now, Republicans with Democrats for more health care spending, 49%. And then a little bit higher than that. It's almost split here on YouTube. Democrats, GOP has a funding bill ready to go. That one is sitting at 51%. And I believe we want to check on some comments with Big D.
Yeah, we've got.
Sorry.
Dave with the throat clearing. He knew his time was, actually, you're supposed to go at 38. It's 40.
Oh.
But still, Dave. By the way, note of emphasis, Bella, if you want to come join us, we have a really interesting story from Isabel in just a moment. But Dave, take it away, buddy.
Yes. Thank you very much for your patience. Tons of great comments today and yesterday. David Dedrick in Mesa says, whatever happened to civil negotiations for a compromise for the American people? Charles David, 5137, says time to come together and prevent another shutdown. Michael Barnes says, as Trump said himself in 2011, POTUS is to blame. It is his job to bring people together. There are a lot of really good comments. Keep them coming. We love hearing from you. Love the engagement.
We have had incredible engagement, not just on this topic, but in the chat box this morning as well.
And also, can I just point out, civil.
Yeah.
Nobody's threatening each other in these comments.
No.
They're sharing their comments, and we say we're the friendliest chat, but we have people that really think and are civil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be threatening someone else, but not us.
Celeste, now quit. Quit.
Okay, so we do have, though, Julie Wilson is from Manchester, UK, watching this morning.
Okay, where's Julie?
Julie's from Manchester. She's up there.
Okay.
She's up there a little bit.
Yeah.
She was chiming in a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
so I said hello to her, so welcome to the feed.
We have just this backstory.
Okay.
I've got a relative, my son-in-law, who's over there working in the UK, and he's been telling people about the stream.
Oh, wow. With like a poster or something or what?
Sure. It's one of those sandwich boards where you walk up and down Whitehall Street.
We should have got him a Fox 10 Talks t-shirt.
Oh, we should have.
And he could have walked around the office in the shirt.
Yeah. But anyway, Julie, welcome aboard. We hope that you'll be watching a little more often and spread the word there in whatever town in Manchester.
Yes.
Cool. Okay,
Manchester.
That's great. All right, so Isabella is here. Now, you're going to have to wait about 2 minutes.
No worries.
We asked her to do some digging. There's a story, if you haven't heard about it yet, that is just, I think for fans of some of the biggest, most popular TV shows or streaming shows that have been out there, who got an ALS diagnosis, even though he's still a relatively young man.
Yeah.
And it is sending shockwaves, I think, not just through Hollywood, but because of his popularity all over the country. So she has that for us after a quick 2-minute break. Bella, you're all set and ready to go, yes? Okay.
Bells.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
I know. We're back to the old music.
I know. We're kind of wondering, Ron. There were almost tears here in the studio.
Correct. Yeah.
I cried.
There's
were you?
no-
I was in full tears. Were you crying?
No, because there's no crying in the streaming business. We already chatted about
Ron,
this.
ladies
Celeste.
like a man who's in touch with his very emotional side.
Okay. So talk about an emotional story. Bella joins this morning. Bella, tell us, who are we talking about? What is his background? Why is he so popular and such a household name? And then this diagnosis.
I know.
Really
Heartbreaking.
something.
Yeah. So we are talking about Eric Dane, if you're familiar with Grey's Anatomy or Euphoria.
Okay.
So lots of different shows. He's a star actor. In Euphoria, he is better known, in Euphoria, he's better known as the father of Jacob Elordi's character, so the creepy dad. But if you watch Grey's Anatomy, he is known as Dr. McSteamy.
Yeah.
So not McDreamy, but
Right.
McSteamy.
So he was the follow-up to McDreamy? Is that the way it works?
McDreamy's
and just as handsome.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
McDreamy's friend, who also broke a lot of hearts on the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oops, hold on
That
here.
is not
No,
Mr. McDreamy.
I know.
That's
Hold
him.
on.
Yeah.
That's
I'm going to
him.
let you. Oh, there we go.
I mean,
Oh,
his
is it-
wife
look
probably
at this
thinks
guy.
it's
How he
Yeah.
looks like I don't know. In this video, it looks like he might be 50-ish. What is his age?
Yeah, so he's quite young, which is really sad when it comes to his diagnosis. He's only 52, and he announced in April that he has been diagnosed with ALS, so amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. That's a
Right.
hard one.
Sure.
So a rare degenerative disease that progressively paralyzes muscles by damaging nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. The devastating thing is there is no cure, and most patients only live 3 to 5 years after the diagnosis.
Wow.
So some signs and early symptoms include muscle twitching, weakness, slurred speech, and eventually loss of speech, mobility, and the ability to breathe independently.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was really sad. He just did an interview recently, and he revealed that he has lost full ability and feeling in his right arm, which is really sad. And he was also seen slurring in that interview.
Because
so
he's
it's
been
sad.
pretty public about this
He
whole
has.
health journey of his,
Yes.
right?
So he's been very public. He's called for more research and resources for ASL diagnosis, which is good.
Sure.
But, his main thing he was saying is he's not going to let this diagnosis stop him. He's going to start filming for Euphoria Season 3 next week.
Really? Next
Yes.
week?
Even though
Okay.
he was seen in a wheelchair last
Yeah.
week. He has 2 young daughters, both under the age of 18. So
Hmm.
he's just been open about how he wants to continue living for them, which is really sweet.
Right. Yeah.
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 And
That's
there's-
pretty scary.
There's so much
Really
still
scary.
to learn about ALS, and we ought to have a doctor on so that we can all learn, because it's one of those things you sort of fear what you don't know, because some of these symptoms, the way they start out, seem pretty common that any of us could maybe relate to.
Yeah, like Belza, when you were just speaking, I thought, what are some of the first warning signs of ALS?
Mhm.
They say it's painless, progressive muscle weakness, stiffness. I mean, how many times have you woken up in the morning and you're like feeling a little stiff, right?
You have a
You
little
need-
twitch in your arm.
Yeah, the
all
twitching
the
is one
time.
of them.
Yeah.
Maybe having some fine motor skill difficulty at times, speaking, swallowing, breathing, clumsiness, difficulty with tasks. I mean, simple things. And you think about it, it's because it's a nervous system ailment diagnosis. Then you think, that's like obviously our body's largest organ, but we can't inspect it.
Celeste,
It's not something we can see until after it started.
If you have a minute, can you also dig into what are some of the causes for ALS?
They don't have any causes. I looked at that as well.
Really?
The exact cause is unknown. It's it says it's believed to be a combination of genetic and environmental factors, oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction. So obviously it's something else that we can't see. It's in your genes, autoimmune disorders, and viral infections. But it's one of those things that we just don't know a whole lot about.
Wow.
It happens in the brain,
Yeah.
and it's and you don't have any control over it. Like you have a cold, right?
You
Then
can
you
take
take cold
medicine.
medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you break your toe, you stay off your foot or, something like that. Or, it's like, it's not something we can see because it's within our nervous system. And that's so frightening.
Yeah, he's called this sobering, this whole experience. That's been a common word he's used in interviews. He's just called it sobering, because you have no control over it. And it's almost a waiting game of, okay, I've lost feeling in my right arm. He says He thinks his left arm is next, and he just hopes his legs don't come, but he's already been seen in a wheelchair. So really devastating.
Good for them for figuring out ways to write with this in mind. If he's saying, I'm going to start taping next week, they'll figure out a way
Definitely.
to keep him involved.
Yeah.
Hey, in the world of politics, we got a real shocker yesterday. And let me just pull that video up for you right now. Here is what I'm talking about. This is David Schweikert. He, especially if you live in his congressional district, you're probably pretty well familiar with him, but he's now joining this man, Andy Biggs, another local congressman, and this woman, a prominent Valley business person, that's Karen Taylor Robeson, to try to challenge we believe, the only Democrat who will be entering the race, and that's the incumbent governor, Katie Hobbs. I just want, by the way, we're going to dig into this with LiveNOW's Mike Pache coming up at 11:30 this morning. But I wonder, with two candidates, both of whom already got the big okay from President Trump, kind of what Congressman Schweikert's thinking is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's looking for maybe more moderate conservatives,
maybe,
because some people may think that Trump and the MAGA movement might be too far to the right.
Yeah, but how do you win a primary if you don't have Donald Trump's endorsement?
You would need it.
Right?
You would need it. Yeah.
And I thought that Karen Taylor Robeson was kind of plowing that middle ground in this race anyway. Andy Biggs, very well known, very conservative,
absolutely,
member of Congress. I think one of the highest rated conservatives in Congress. And then you have this announcement. So we're going to try to dig into it a little bit later with Mike Pache. See, those guys at LiveNOW, they got their finger on the pulse of D.C.
Oh, my, and everything else. My goodness.
Yes,
they know what's going on in this world.
But I don't know if we put Mike on the spot, Bella, and I mean really put him on the spot, if he would be able to answer the following question.
Okay.
How much does an armadillo actually weigh?
Oh.
Celeste, what are you laughing about? What?
Because we had an armadillo on the morning show this morning.
You
Phoenix
did?
Zoo, yeah, Phoenix Zoo came in. They're having the Roars and Pours event to raise money for the zoo this coming week.
Okay.
And it's a grown-up event.
Yes.
What's that mean?
They're going to have
booze?
Yes. Breweries. And what I thought was interesting, because you know how you'll take your kids to the zoo and you learn interesting facts about the giraffe or about the rhino or whatever.
Yeah.
They said they're going to have interesting adult facts
Really?
about the animal kingdom.
Well, I've really wanted to learn about the sex life of animals, so I'll have to buy myself a ticket.
Well, Ron, they're waiting for you.
Good. Here's what it looked like on the air, and it was hilarious with both Celeste and Ty. Ready? Here we go.
We'll put. I'm looking at your eyes to try and get a guess.
Yeah, to get the vibes, right?
This
little
this
bit
week,
fierce.
though, this right here is what she actually weighs.
But I'm very jacked, just so you know.
You're what?
So this is like 100 pounds.
He's jacked.
He's jacked.
All right.
He's wearing a medium.
Should we try? Should we start with 7 pounds?
Let's start with 7. Okay, let's go here.
Okay. Now remember, it's okay. I still got to balance it out. Are we going to stick with 7 or are we adding anything else? If you get it right, you take her home. Oh. I'm kidding.
Okay,
should we add
more 2 more pounds? So there's
I'm not looking.
There's 9 pounds.
9, and let's do the 0.25.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
This looks very scientific.
Yes, it
Okay. All right, Joaquin, final answer.
Delilah?
Are we right, Delilah? Oh, kinda.
Oh, we got it. We got
And
it.
they got it.
We got it.
Delilah, come to Papa.
This is your prize. Yeah.
All right, now we have her treats and her potty protocol. Me and Kim are leaving. Bye.
Oh my goodness, we have a new cuddle nugget night. We have a new cuddle bug at night, Ron.
Yeah, we do. Oh, look, here's the moment. This is great. I don't know if Ty's going to have time to come join us, but this was my favorite moment of the morning show, Ty. The actual weigh-in of the armadillo.
Yes.
And the chance for us to learn interesting armadillo facts.
It was very in between the little lines on the armadillo's back. It was hairy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was furry.
Ty, were you
what was its name again?
Delilah.
Delilah.
Yeah, we were hoping to have We're hoping to have like that song, Delilah, Ron.
Hey there,
yeah.
Yeah, we can't sing it, otherwise
we're on YouTube.
Charged.
Right.
Yeah. But we were
Thanks a
hoping
lot.
to have that. You know what's so great? We were talking about the fact that it's a grown-up event, Ty.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're gonna walk you around, have the animals there too.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over the course of your careers, you two, has there been even another animal that has been maybe, I don't know if frightening's the word, memorable? How about memorable that you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't like snakes.
Okay.
Me
I'm
neither.
working on getting over my snake.
I'm not
fear.
working on it, actually. I'm fine with the snake scare.
But I went to the Herpetological Society
I'm
up
trying
in
to
like
punch
North
your camera here, Ty,
in
but-
North Scottsdale.
Okay, yeah.
And they had a giant yellow python, but it's like 12 feet long.
They brought it in studio one time.
Really?
Yeah, it's
So
huge.
they started you off easy.
With the giant. Okay, you know
one of the
what?
little 3-footers.
No, you know what? I'm less scared of the giant ones.
It's the small
'Cause
little wiggly ones.
That's
like
my-
when I was at the Herpetological Society, this is years ago. They
Okay.
gave me one of those long stick things, the grabbers.
Yeah.
That you can use, and they were like, okay, now grab it and put it in the bucket, and I was like,
No thanks.
but I did it, and I screamed the whole time. But it was like it's because they wiggle,
And they're
you know what I-
smaller and they can like disappear, Ron.
Yeah, they can into little crevices and everything.
And I feel like I could probably outrun one of those giant 12-foot long boa constrictors.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
now
some
we
goes up
go
there.
out live to both the Phoenix Zoo and the Wildlife World Zoo. But there
Yes.
were times they would bring animals in. I don't know if there might still be one or two of them kind of crawling around.
I was actually hoping they were going to bring an orangutan in and Ty could wrestle.
She wanted me to fight the orangutan or the gorilla.
Gorilla, or a tiger or
Yeah.
something like that.
that'd be
I would be
ratings.
rooting for
Yeah.
Ty.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Have you guys ever had a scorpion encounter? I actually did a story once.
I did a story too,
Oh,
Ron.
here we go. Let's hear
Go
it.
first.
Well, I put it right on my head.
Oh.
Yeah. Why? says Ty.
why?
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
didn't see
It was
that.
like a face your fears kind of a
Was
segment.
that here?
Here at Fox 10.
Wow.
Believe
Did it
me,
bite you?
I probably should have visited with HR prior, but I didn't. So anyway.
Somebody went to urgent care.
All right. So Bella, your story real quick. We got 20
in
seconds.
Tucson, I just went and did a scorpion story at U of A, and they had like 15 aquariums of these big and little scorpions
Okay.
that were like
It's the
very
little ones.
dangerous.
You got to watch out for those little Ty.
Mm-hmm.
What's coming up, buddy? The big 11 a.m. hour.
We're going to talk about the government shutdown. We got our friends from LiveNOW coming down to talk about that. Plus, we're going to be talking about the EVs. Ron, I know you drive an EV.
Yeah.
I have an EV.
Yeah. Stay out of that one
we're
lane.
kicked out of the HOV
I do like
lane.
the IVs too, though. Thank you.
So those stories and much more coming up.
Good morning.
All right,
11 o'clock.
We're going to keep things rolling here. It is still morning, yeah. Andy,
It is, barely.
From LiveNOW has come down to hang out with us as well, so thanks for coming in.
Yeah, of course.
We want to get right now to breaking news. Anita is just filling us in on this, so let me pull this up real quick. This is E&G. There we go. This is what we're looking at, a live traffic camera, I-10 right there at 43rd Ave.
This is westbound lanes. This is Arizona Department of Public Safety, so DPS says they're investigating what they're calling a possible road rage shooting along the highway. Rick Davis, one of our photographers out there, he was on scene. So if you head over to any of our social media sites, you'll see that entire area is restricted to traffic, as you can see in those far left lanes, the HOV lane. What we are reporting, what we're being told, is there was a bullet hole seen in the windshield of a red Toyota Corolla, causing traffic issues, as we can see right now. No word on any possible victim, no word on any possible suspect, but there are reports of a large pool of blood that could be seen next to a driver's door of one of the vehicles. So very graphic scene, very tough scene to investigate. As you can see, huge police presence there. So we do have a reporter heading out. We're going to have more information throughout the rest of the morning and probably the noon show as well.
Is that the Corolla to the left kind of there on the way ahead of all those other vehicles?
That I don't know. That I don't know.
It looks like they're backed up and obviously keeping some distance. And obviously it might be a crime scene.
Absolutely. When we have a possible road rage shooting, that's exactly what they're looking at. So DPS is investigating. They're on scene. I imagine that all the vehicles there in that far left lane, guys, are the investigators.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's just obviously unfortunate. But yeah, it's just interesting to kind of look at it from this, because you don't usually get a scene like this. Sometimes you have to send a photographer out. This is something you don't generally see.
Yeah, right from the traffic camera.
And that's a really busy area, both directions, eastbound, westbound. We typically see a lot of traffic coming out of that westbound.
And you see the other way, even people are kind of looking to see what's going on.
Exactly.
In Chicago, we call that a gaper's delay, when people would just kind of.
What do they call it here? Rubbernecker?
Yeah, rubbernecking to try to see what's going on. Hey, what's going on over there? Everyone's slowing down.
Yeah, so we just wanted to let everyone know that's what's going on. If you heard anything, saw anything, let us know, and we'll keep you posted.
All right. Our other big story, of course, is the government shutdown. But shut down for what now? 13 going on close to 14 hours.
Correct.
Of government shutdown at midnight.
Correct.
Fill us in on what's been going on behind the scenes here.
So obviously the kind of deal is that there was hope for a continuing resolution. The Republicans wanted that kind of clean bill to move it forward. The Democrats dug in. The Republicans dug in. We're gone 14 hours now since the government is now shut down. Obviously some still functioning in ways, obviously, but people aren't getting paid. TSA, air traffic controller, all that sorts of stuff. ICE and kind of the immigration crackdown still very much in full swing for that. But both sides seem to not be budging on their stance. This is the first one since we've seen back in 2018. So we'll see how long it lasts. That's kind of the big question. How long will these sides? We just heard from Vice President J.D. Vance at the White House press briefing saying he's willing to have conversations. Of course, the first real conversation was earlier this week, I believe on Monday, with all of the Democratic Republican leadership inside of the Oval Office. So they canceled it last week. They moved it to this week. They didn't get negotiation done. What the Republicans are saying is that, hey, we want to pass this CR to let negotiations, let appropriations continue on for quite some time. The Democrats are saying, hey, like, we don't want the health care to be stripped away from so many millions of Americans. You have to decide open enrollment, all these companies in the next month. If you don't know what's coming next year, you don't know what kind of benefits you get, you don't know exactly what you want to rely on. So that's what the Democrats are saying. So obviously kind of a standoff, a staring contest of sorts right now. And we'll see how it goes, because the last time it happened back in 2018, it was 35 days. It was from late December to an early January, mid-January in that year. But yeah, we'll see how long this one goes, because the impacts could be pretty far-ranging.
A couple of things, and I need to Google a date unless you want to, because you're right there in Google, Ty. I believe it was during Obama's administration there was a shutdown. They sent me up. They closed the Grand Canyon. And I remember heading up to the Sedona area where they have the pink Jeep tours, because they were talking about alternate ways that people can head up and that kind of thing. I know we're going to hear from Governor Hobbs later at a different press conference. Hopefully she'll respond to some of what's going on. Will Arizona fund things like the Grand Canyon? And
that's an
parks?
Interesting kind of conversation. And so many different communities, different states have these conversations. I did see, I think Colorado and Utah, they are also kind of putting forward the funds to make sure all of these national parks, all of those entities are opening. Of course, they are kind of saying, some of the national parks people, that they are going to keep it open, but like visitor centers, things that take quite a few resources are not going to be there. So like hiking trails probably going to be open, but they're concerned about like vandalism. If someone gets stuck, the resources to get people out.
I remember
that
the
is
bathrooms.
Yeah,
last
exactly.
Shutdown was, remember that? That was a big issue. They were all, no one was there to clean them out.
Take out the trash.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The other big thing that we've been talking about, I've heard comments from people. We have so many employees, workers without pay.
Correct.
And somebody said, well, why don't we just suspend the lawmakers' pay?
Yep.
And you can't under the U.S. Constitution. Lawmakers' pay cannot be suspended during a government shutdown for 3 reasons, right?
Yep.
You aware of those?
I'm not aware of the exact
I didn't know if you wanted to add. No, I didn't know if you wanted to add. I didn't.
My civics is a little out of date right now.
It's turned into a test.
It's constitutional requirement, the 27th Amendment, and separation of powers.
And obviously, I didn't know exactly all 3 of those.
No, I thought you were going to add to it. I didn't want to keep talking over you.
I do have a point, though, because I think several lawmakers have already come out and saying, hey, we're not going to take pay. So they may not have the kind of opportunity to not take, but it's just like, hey, we're not going to take pay. So many people are doing it. I mean, that goes for TSA people.
Yeah.
You're going to potentially see concerns if you're traveling over the next few weeks, because they are still having to come to work, but they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So usually the kind of interesting point is 2 weeks out. Because if you don't get paid, that first paycheck that doesn't hit the direct deposit, doesn't really come in, that is a big concern, because now you're going to have to try to figure out making ends meet for everyone. So that's going to be a problem.
And I remember the last government shutdown we had, we talked a lot about the TSA, because after a while, I mean, after 2 weeks, you're not getting paid. A lot of these folks were calling in sick because they were trying to find different jobs, different avenues to support their family. And then that obviously was kind of trickle down effect. Then we saw long lines at the airport.
And
delays,
that
all sorts
will
of stuff.
affect us, because I know that, again, people talk about this, and when we look as reporters to advance the story and we look for who is affected, how are they affected, it's not always easy to find and chat with people who feel that direct cut, but we do with TSA, for example. That's a great example, Ty. We'll see longer lines.
Yeah, indirect kind of channels that it happens through, and obviously the healthcare system as well, just with maybe not necessarily not being able to get certain things, but delays that the people won't be there to provide those resources. So it does trickle down, and just the impact on the economy. There's also concern that with the Trump administration and some of the cuts, we saw DOGE. It's so important at the beginning of this administration that some of the people that might be furloughed during this might not actually be coming back. So Democrats, and that's kind of the game they're playing a little bit, politics here is, hey, like if the shutdown goes into effect, they might have to cut jobs, they might have to save money, but they may never come back to that. So that's what Democrats potentially concerned about as well, that these cuts might not just be temporary.
Yeah, and you see so much mudslinging right now. Obviously, the Democrats blaming Republicans, Republicans blaming Democrats for the government shutdown. So it's kind of they're really at a stalemate and really not coming together.
Yeah, the Democrats are saying this is really the time to do it, because at the beginning of October, when we learned potentially some of the premiums going up for all the health care because they need to kind of save some money with the Medicaid cuts and that one big beautiful bill, that you'll start getting notices that, hey, your bills, your medical, your insurance is going to be more pricey next year. So the Democrats are saying, hey, like, we need to make a kind of, this is the line in the sand that we have drawn, that we need people to know that there could be concern in terms of your health care moving forward.
Now, I know that you obviously are going to be covering this all day long, and you've already talked to some folks, some kind of political analysts. Are they giving you any indication? Is there any wiggle room for these two to come together? Is there any, I know there's no crystal ball that will tell how long this could last, but what are some of your...
That is ultimately the big question, is how long does this last? What impacts, and is there any? And right now it doesn't feel like there is any wiggle room. It's like you reach out to lawmakers and it just kind of feels like, we even talked about it last week, it felt like we were on cruise control heading for that moment midnight last night, and now we're kind of in it. So Obviously, we'll see which side budges first. That's the big question. But both sides are very dug in right now in terms of where their stances are on this. So we don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like anytime soon. I don't feel like lawmakers feel like it's anytime soon. So that it could be going on for a while.
We hope not.
Yeah,
I know. We don't. Yeah, this is obviously it's not the sexiest of topics, but it's
important.
Yeah,
and it does, and it will eventually affect everyone.
Yeah, and they're saying the continuing resolutions, they passed it 11, 13 times under Biden. So it's not like there's a foreign topic to talk about continuing resolution. This is just something that happens a lot, and now we're kind of at a stalemate.
All right. Well, Andy, we appreciate you coming
Andy.
in. Of course, you'll be watching this and talking about it all day as well.
All day.
LiveNOw.
Hopefully not for 35 days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be a lot of, we hopefully don't get through. But we're talking to lawmakers tonight from all over the country, so we'll be breaking it all down.
Cool,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to look at this highway video this morning because some big changes. If you drive an EV in our state, get ready to be forced out of the HOV lane. We're doing
That HOV lane looks empty.
It does in this video. This must have been in the middle of the day because those HOV lanes, if you drive on the 10, you know they get very busy. Irene, you were following the story for us this morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. And you were actually out on the roadways, which I thought was a cool way to tell the story.
We were. Yes, I was out with Brian Acosta this morning. We had our little camera set up on the dashboard.
And there were two of you, so that's not a problem.
So we were allowed.
Yes,
we were
you're
not
allowed.
I do know some of our work vehicles are EVs.
Yeah,
or hybrids.
I actually didn't know that.
No, I thought we had some hybrids.
We may.
Mm-hmm.
We need to go back and talk to somebody, I guess. To get
But
that confirmed. I don't doubt
regardless, you still have to have two people in the car.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So I guess it's been different for the last 20 years, since 2005. So 20 years at this point. We're in 2025.
So walk us through what's changed.
Sure, guys. So, obviously in 2005, that's when this first went into effect. People who had electronic vehicles were able to go into the HOV lane, even during those kind of blackout periods, the rush hour. We're talking early in the morning, then in the evening for your commute. Not a problem for us. We drive into work at 3 a.m. anyway. But for the average person who has a normal job, that could be that's rush hour traffic. Going in the HOV lane will obviously save you a lot of time. The electronic vehicle, you're able to skip that, go in the HOV lane even by yourself. But now, as of today, that no longer is going to happen.
Okay.
Did you have to have a special plate to do that?
You do.
You that I believe you did,
You have
yeah.
to have the cloud plate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not even an option at all.
I'm not sure if they're changing the license plates, but now they won't, basically they won't be effective for them.
Allowed in there. Yeah. And this is it's a federal thing. It's not necessarily an Arizona thing. It's the federal government is kind of mandating this.
Yeah, it is a federal thing, Ty and Anita. But also, too, it's not just as far as being on the HOV lanes. It also has to do with their trying to get people to do electric vehicles to begin with, too.
Yeah.
So before that, I was actually looking into getting an electric vehicle a few months ago, and they were telling me, hey, some of those tax incentives, I think it's a $7,000 tax incentive.
$7,500.
Yeah, $7,500.
Yeah.
And they were saying, I was $500 off. But yes. So definitely interesting to talk about. So.
Cool.
Well, Irene, we
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in. We'll take a quick break. We'll
appreciate
be
it.
back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
to find your website.
All right, welcome back. It is 11:15, and we are going to check in with Lauren Clark. She is on the phone this morning, and Lauren, we are hearing that you're heading up to Globe today. Walk us through exactly what you guys are going to be looking for up there.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, this poor community has gone through so much as a result of these floods they saw on Friday night. We've continued to report on this community and their businesses and their homes as they faced these devastating floods that 3 people were killed as a result of, and others have had their buildings destroyed amongst other property damage. And today we're going to be talking to one family that really needs everyone's help. This is an incredible family, guys. These are 2 individuals who are currently raising their granddaughter, and their home is just an absolute loss as a result of the floods. One of their family members sent me some photos earlier today, and it is just gut-wrenching. I was tearing up looking at some of these photos. I mean, their home is just absolutely covered in water, mud, debris as a result of this flooding. Now, they're very, very thankful that everyone is safe, but they have just, quite frankly, lost all of it as a result. So we're going to be talking to them today, and this is really important for our Fox 10 Talks family, too. If you are compelled to help them out in any way you can, they do also have a GoFundMe page to kind of help them get back on their feet during this time. They just paid off this home. They've been there for over 24 years. So just absolutely devastating, after you've reached this incredible milestone with your home to have this happen to it.
Yeah.
Just so sad.
Lauren, I received a lot of messages from residents in Globe saying they were really concerned about insurance coverage, flood coverage, whether they would get any assistance. Is that something you think you'll be chatting about? Do we have any updated information on that?
Yes, and I know my colleague Nicole did focus on a story, I believe, on that topic of, the flood insurance and, how is that going to work out with some folks. I'm certainly going to talk to the family about that today as well. But I know that there was also some concerns about the money and some of the help. They are going to be getting some federal assistance for some of this, I believe, but that takes a while, for all of it to go down the proper channels. And some people need money now, not a few months from now. So I know that is certainly a pressing concern for this community. And I think for us here in the Valley, this is an opportunity to lend a hand to a neighbor and to try to help them out if you have the means to do so and you feel compelled on your heart to do so, because we are one Arizona family here that can really just help each other out during this really difficult time.
Sure, and we're looking at some of the video that happened last week during the flooding up in Globe, and it is pretty incredible just to see how much damage was done to some of those local homes and businesses. Lauren, what time will your story air tonight so folks can watch?
Yeah, I think it's going to be around 5 or 5:30 today, but certainly within that 5 o'clock hour. And then we always have things available online at fox10phoenix.com. And it's going to be on our website, where we're also going to have a link to that GoFundMe page as well.
How far out of town are you, Lauren?
We have just passed the area of Gold Canyon. So we are about 43 miles away at this time.
Okay, I was going to ask how the roads are. And I know we had a lot of closures and there was some flooding on the roadways. I would imagine that they've definitely started cleanup efforts on those as well.
Yes, definitely the freeways. I was out in Globe yesterday, and some of the side roads are certainly still muddy and everything, but we didn't have any issues with road closures or anything like that going down yesterday. But man, you can definitely see that damage, and it is just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
All right, Lauren, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a great one.
You
in
too.
Studio. Thanks, Lauren.
All right, we've got some guests here in studio. Some of my old friends. I've done a multitude of stories with Whale Tail. So why don't you, first of all, introduce yourselves?
I'm Jacinta.
You got to get
nice
right
and
up
close to the mic. I'm Jacinta Jackson. I'm the director of e-commerce at Whale Tail Sales.
What's Whale Tails?
Whale Tail Sales is an aviation art and salvage company. We tear down commercial aircrafts, and we upcycle/recycle retired aircraft parts.
How cool.
Yeah.
So neat.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Ashley Plum. I'm the executive director at Check for a Lump. We're a local breast cancer nonprofit servicing the whole entire state, and we do the full continuum of breast cancer from prevention, diagnostic testing, wigs, and support all the way through.
All right, so I wore my pink today, but you really take the cake. Hold on. Let me get a tight shot of her hair. Do you see the pink in there? You're going all out, Ash.
I do.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is very cool. All right, so Jacinta, let's start with you one more time. I want to show some video because we've done so many stories together, but this is kind of what you do. You buy basically these giant aircraft that are kind of reaching the end of their quote-unquote life, right?
Yes.
And you kind of part them out. And we're talking, you guys take every piece of that airplane apart, right?
Yes, we take all interiors, we take flight deck pieces, and we just bring them out of retirement and bring them new life to everyday people. So we do a lot of stuff with businesses outside the aviation industry, and we sell to movie production companies, escape rooms, simulator builders. With the whole teardown, the simulator builder companies love it because we can get them the parts that they need from the aircrafts that they need them from.
We just saw video of like a little, I guess, compartment. I'm not quite sure what it was. But talk a little bit about some of the pieces that you can pull and repurpose.
So we pull just about everything. Sidewall panels, rows of seats from inside the aircraft, and overhead bins for the stowage of your suitcases for your carry-ons. And we also do panels from the flight deck and seats and compartments from the flight deck.
How cool.
itself.
Like that's a window.
That is a window.
Cool. That is
so
I love that.
Those are our biggest sellers. We can repaint and engrave them for something special and unique to the customer.
And you're doing something special and unique for Check for a Lump.
Absolutely, yes. So we are actually selling shirts and doing a sponsorship for Check for a Lump for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October.
Now, Jacinta, where did this idea come from? Why did you guys want to partner with Check for a Lump?
So breast cancer is very important to me and a lot of our team members. We've had a lot of people in our families get diagnosed with breast cancer. We've lost some. My grandma is an over 20-year survivor. She's had it 2 times now, and honestly, she's one of my biggest inspirations. So partnering with someone for Check for a Lump, like Check for a Lump, was very meaningful to us.
How many women and some men are diagnosed with breast cancer every year? Do we know the numbers?
I believe this year it's over 280,000 across the U.S.
Right.
that will be diagnosed, and that's men and women. Men kind of make up about 1% of that number.
And like Jacinta said, your mom's a breast cancer survivor. I unfortunately have, my aunt just passed away Easter from breast cancer.
That's right.
And so it does affect everyone.
It does.
And that's why we have to continue to fight.
It really affects everybody. It's I always say it's not necessarily if, it's when, and it might not be you yourself, but it could be like a family member or a friend who ends up getting diagnosed, because it's 1 in 8 women that are diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime.
1 in 8. I mean, that when you think about
There's
it.
4 of us here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah. Let's talk about kind of the resources that you guys offer, because you kind of went through them a little bit, but you kind of are, for lack of a better word, a one-stop shop for someone that might be going through this.
Yeah.
Walk us through kind of what those things are.
Yeah, so one of our programs that we have is our education program, and that's kind of where we got started. We've been around for 15 years now. I came in as a wig client myself, but more on that in a second. But our education program is our magazine, and we also do Step Up to Prevention presentations. So we talk about ways to lower your risk of developing breast cancer, or really any kind of cancer or other disease. And so it's packed full of tidbits of easy things to do. And then we have our mammogram program, and that is free mammograms for anybody living in Arizona. It's a screening mammogram, and then if they need follow-up diagnostic testing, we'll cover that all the way through a diagnosis or an all clear, and then we refer them out. And then we have our wig program, which is near and dear to my heart, because as a survivor, I got a wig through our wig program. So we provide free wigs to breast cancer patients.
Wow.
And then we have our support program, which is support groups, which is we're a non-traditional support group. We like to get together and laugh and have a good time and do different activities and paint nights and yoga and trivia and, just all sorts of fun, different things for all levels.
I'm looking at the website. $100 donation will educate 25 people with cancer prevention tools. $200 donation provides a mammogram. $550 provides a free new wig to a breast cancer patient in need. $25 will help you support and educate.
Yes, exactly. And every dollar helps. So like whether that's somebody who wants to sign up for like a monthly reoccurring donation, a one-time donation, any amount really goes a long way to support our programs because our programs are free for everybody.
Yeah. I really want to hit it real quick on the early detection and those mammograms because that's what I think saved my mom's life. She got the mammogram. They saw something, immediately took her in and did the whole shebang. But that early detection is so key.
It is, because the sooner you find it, the higher chances you are of surviving it. So, I believe it's like you have close to 100% survival rate if you find it in the early stages.
I went a year and a half because time and busy schedules.
Sometimes it gets away from us.
It does. And that's where you just have to remember, especially when you're talking to survivors and you're talking to people who know survivors. It's so important.
Absolutely. And just, that extra little, reminder to a friend, and making sure people are doing their monthly self-checks because a lot of breast cancers are found on your own, not through a mammogram.
What does it mean for you to kind of have another organization kind of reach out to you and be like, hey, let's partner up? Because the more money is obviously going to help more women.
Absolutely. Exactly. I mean, we service everybody, anybody and everybody that comes to us as long as they live in Arizona.
Sure.
But it's so amazing when we got the phone call that Whaletail wanted to partner with us.
Can you hold up the t-shirt that you're holding? I mean, these are cool. You hold it up because you got the best camera here.
Okay.
Look.
And it's just, it's really cool to partner with local businesses that want to support the breast cancer community, want to support us. The amount of it's so meaningful to have another group believe in our mission and believe in what we're doing to help our community. So it's really impactful.
We got about 30 seconds left. Jacinta, how can folks get these t-shirts?
So we have on whaletailsales.com, you can go to our breast cancer line section in our categories. Click on that and our shirts will pop right up. 100% of the proceeds for the shirts are all going to Check for a Lump, as well as the month of October. All of our sales through October, a portion of those will be going to Check for a Lump as well, and we're going to be matching it.
And they're only $25.
And they are
very
only $25.
Reasonable. Very reasonable.
If you're an aviation geek like me, I'm on your website all the time looking at all the cool stuff. This is the perfect time to buy because you're going to be helping and giving back.
Awesome.
And at the Pink Out 5K, which is on Saturday.
Sorry.
We'll put all the info on there.
I don't know. I look at pictures like this and I appreciate a nice blue sky day is what I appreciate after some of the stuff we saw last week. All the clouds and all the storm activity last Friday. That was really nuts. Now, Des, there have actually been a few complaints on the morning show this morning. I had to text Crystal because she was getting a little bit of flack from some of our favorite on-air personalities.
Oh, I'm just messing with her.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh.
It was Ty and Celeste. They were like, well, what is this? What? A 100?
Oh, well, okay,
Yeah.
so when Crystal put the first triple digit back in the 10-day, I go, all right.
Okay.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
No more.
Okay.
And then she came back with 2, and Anita and I gave her a little bit this morning.
Did
but we're
you?
just,
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
it's all love.
Yeah. So my response, and by the way, Big Mike joins. Mike Pache. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Mike.
Doing well, guys.
Good to see you.
Great having you here. But I had to text her and say, October 1st is a day that sticks out of my mind. 1 year ago today, I believe the high temp on the first day of October was 113.
Wow.
Okay, so we're nowhere near that.
99 ain't nothing.
No,
right?
no, we know what's coming. I mean, November is very close now.
Sure.
And I always say November, December. I mean, it's
yes,
the best.
We're turning the right corner. That's all that matters.
Correct.
We're getting there.
It's that opposite feeling we get in early May. Like, brace yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so plenty to talk about this morning. Politics getting really interesting. We asked Mike to join us for that. But before we start with any of those kinds of stories, we're also going to be talking about the shutdown. Of course, this story from earlier this morning, violence in the downtown area. They've done such a nice job, with a lot of new apartments and condos going in, and restaurants and retail. You hate to hear about something like this, but this was Dominique's report just a little while ago this morning.
Right at the intersection, Roosevelt and First Street in downtown Phoenix. And police, they've been out here just after 3 a.m. That's when they were dispatched due to an injured person call. And you can see we're right in front of this crime scene tape. Police have set up quite a big perimeter. There's a lot of parking lots, church, many businesses as well that will be blocked off this morning due to this. So what we know, we received an update from Phoenix police. They said that as officers began to arrive in this area, they found one adult male victim. He was found with signs of serious trauma, and he was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And then while officers were also on the scene, that's where they were able to find a second adult male victim. He was located nearby, also suffering from some serious injuries there. Now, he was taken to the hospital. We're told that he has serious life-threatening injuries. Both victims, they did show signs of blunt force trauma, consistent with being hit with some type of unknown object, but of course, just due to the state of how they are, it was a really serious incident, I should say. So as far as how long this portion of Roosevelt and First Street will be blocked off for, we still don't know that yet. We just were able to get an update on the victims' conditions. But like I said, keep in mind, this is a very busy area, portion of downtown. We've seen a lot of people on their morning walks, runs, people walking their dogs as well. So if you are headed this way, or maybe you have a business that will be blocked off due to this crime scene tape, that's something to keep in mind this morning.
Okay, so that was Dom's report, and they did eventually get it all squared away. But anyhow, we are going to transition now. It's Ron and Des and Big Mike. Although we have a Big D on here already. You guys are familiar with him. I don't know if we can have, too many nicknames going.
Have Mike be Big Mike, whatever he wants.
Okay, yeah. Mike and I,
Are you offended, Dave?
Before LiveNOW, Des, ever got going, we were just hanging out on YouTube every day with whatever it was, the Ron and Mike show or something like that.
We would run it for about 15 minutes. You were right off the top.
Yeah,
It was fun.
Yeah, it was. Okay, and so it's like Des and me, once you have chemistry, you got it.
Yeah.
It never leaves.
Right.
And so same with Mike. Mike, what is going on? Let me just roll the video here, right here. Ready? So we have what's already shaping up to be a big race in the state of Arizona. Gubernatorial-wise, I think it probably is up near the top of the list in terms of the most interesting. You have Andy Biggs, well-known conservative congressman for the East Valley. Karen Taylor Robson, very prominent business person, with quite a track record of success in the business world. And then you've got the current governor, Katie Hobbs, who, as a Democrat, has shown that she can work with Republicans in the legislature. So, Mike, as you've looked at it here, the race really got shaken up late yesterday when David Schweiker, why would he want to leave Congress, and what do you think his thinking is about becoming the next governor?
Ron, that's so interesting, but I think what the main focus for Schweikert is, if you look at the last two congressional races that he had,
yes,
he has just barely squeaked by.
That's true.
To get it. And right now, his district is just a clear toss-up. So I'm thinking he's thinking, well, I'm just squeaking by. Maybe it's time to, transition.
Okay.
And let's go for a race for governor. And, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out because he's, facing off on his colleague right now,
yes.
Andy Biggs.
Right.
And it's interesting, too, Turning Point, Charlie Kirk and his team, before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he told his team, we are going to go hard for Andy Biggs. So
he did.
So Turning Point is all for Andy Biggs right now.
Interesting.
So we'll see if anything shifts like that.
Oh, how would they make that pivot?
I know. But no, I know what I mean is they're all in.
They're all in right now.
Biggs.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I already thought it was a kind of a moderate Republican race versus a well-known conservative, I think one of the more conservative members of Congress, between Karen Taylor Robson, who got the Trump endorsement, and then Andy Biggs, who also got the Trump endorsement. So where does Schweiker, you've followed his career, where does he come down on the ideological spectrum, and how does it shake up the race? What do you think?
Well, he is a big, budget hawk, right? So he is really going to run on, I'm going to try to get, Arizona fiscally correct, fiscally right. So that's something that he really runs on. And when you watch his floor remarks always on the House, it's always about the over bloated budget federally. Mm-hmm. So he's going to bring that, probably a lot of talking points, of course, locally now that he is going to be running for governor. I think that's going to be a big push for him locally here as he's going to be making the push to be governor.
What do you think another pillar of his might be other than budget that he might, run on?
I think it's definitely going to be border security. That is definitely, right up their talking points already, but he's going to bring that now to more of a local level instead of just, a federally looking level.
Okay. So, Mike, Now, I've been on the air for a long time here, right? Over 40 years. The actual number is 43 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Since 1982. And sometimes your memory is like spot on, sometimes a little hazy, but I swear I remember covering the legislature when I think back in the 80s, they announced they had a $1 billion spending plan for the state of Arizona. I remember thinking at the time, how are you guys going to spend $1 billion? Well, you just talked about Schweiker, and he's going to make this his. Do you remember what this last year's state budget was? I'll give you a hint. It was more than $1 billion.
What was it, Ron?
Ready? The total. Okay, this is straight from chat. The total budget, including appropriated and non-appropriated funds in fiscal year 2024, was estimated at $64 billion.
Oh, look at that.
I really kind of, you have to tune in every year, I think, to get the update, but that's a big number.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Big, that's a lot bigger than what I thought you were going to say, actually. So,
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, you could make that a campaign issue, I guess, for sure. So Anyway, Mike, final question on this, and then we're going to get you on the government shutdown. Does he take more votes away from Andy Biggs or Karen Taylor Robson? What do you think?
He is definitely going to take more away from Andy Biggs.
Okay.
So, if you're a Robeson, you probably like the situation
a three-way
little bit
race
more.
now.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andy Biggs was just in Utah yesterday for Turning Point.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
At the Charlie Kirk event.
At the Charlie Kirk event.
Yeah.
So, I think he's going to have to do more ground game now that Schweikert is in this.
Okay. All right. Let's shift to the other big story of the morning. That's the big local story. We'll wait to see the polls. Hopefully they come out here within the next few days because the race really got shaken up. But on the blame game, Mike, I don't know if this will surprise you or not, but you can give Des and me your input on this. Ready? Here we go. Who do you blame? A lot of times we have a third option. Today, no. It's like one or the other. There's not some mystical third party out there. Is it the Democrats? 79% say, yeah, the GOP has passed a funding bill in the House. It's ready to go in the Senate. They have more than 50. They just don't have 60. 21% say, I still blame the Republicans because something's got to be done about the whole health care situation. Do these numbers surprise you?
No, they don't, because I think this is the first time in a while. I think even the Democrats are a little bit confused right now because for the Republicans, so many times they would blink and then just cave, right?
True.
This
in the past,
this is a time where they have not caved, and now we're in the shutdown, and Democrats were thinking, okay, I thought we were going to get what we wanted. Now, as the longer this goes, the Democrats are going to be looking like the ones to be blamed because Republicans every day are going to put, hey, we got this to extend the CR until November. Do you want to do it?
Right.
And every day they're going to force a vote to say Democrats don't want it. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Democrats.
I think, oh gosh, we're almost out of time, Mike. Just real quick, get your take on this. I think the Democrats have got to come up with a clever name because the Republicans are calling it the Schumer shutdown, and it has a ring to it. They got to come up with something on their end.
Yeah, they do. They got to frame it a little bit better. And Republicans were all ready for this. If you looked at the White House, if you look at right outside Speaker Johnson's office, they are just looping video of the Democrats saying how they never want a shutdown, and now there is a shutdown. So I think it's pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, who does want it? And I don't know, like when you're talking about people's livelihoods, their jobs. I mean, being furloughed is one thing, being unpaid is another.
That's hard to get up to go to work.
They're not pawns. Those are real people.
He is Mike Pache.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
you, buddy.
No problem. Great to be here.
All right, so we went to break with about a second to spare. We didn't give you enough time, you guys, to actually look and think about, hey, what is today's mystery camp? This is really interesting to me because I know occasionally a camera will pop up that maybe you've seen before, but I don't recall seeing this one before. And it's got a decent, now these are older high rises, it's not like 40 towers of glass and steel. Some of those look like they've been around for a very long time. But where do you suppose? Here's what we're getting. Louis Gonzalez is saying Chicago, and so everybody's jumping on board that. I see in Illinois, Des.
Mm-hmm.
I see, what else do we see here?
Well, there's 2 Chicagos, Louis and Linda.
Yeah.
Husky Mom thinks it might be Missouri. That's interesting.
I could see that. I'm trying to think, okay, so it's not, to me, Chicago would look like even a bigger skyline. But it feels like one of those kind of maybe Midwestern, not a mega city, like a Chicago kind of a thing, but more like a Des Moines, Iowa, or not a Springfield. What was it? Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, Mike Fernandez is thinking Big Bear Lake.
Okay, Mike. Sure. Way up there in the mountains above LA, they have had a little bit of a growth spurt. All right, Des. So here comes. Do you want to give it a guess?
Well, I don't think it's Charlotte, but maybe it's Charlotte.
Okay, so you got a North Carolina. I'm going to go Illinois.
It is.
Illinois.
Oh, Memphis, Tennessee.
Is it really?
Darn,
Let's go back and check it out. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's the bridge over there to the right that goes over the Mississippi River. And but I don't think we're looking at Beale Street, but that is one of the coolest places I've ever been because you walk down Beale Street. Of course, there was that famous song "Walking in Memphis." But I got my feet 10 feet off of Beale, but do I really feel the way I feel?
So what was your first stop on Beale Street?
I don't even remember the name of it, but my daughter and I were traveling across country. She was out of college and she had landed a job back east, and we stopped in Memphis. And I swear, Des, like every other building going down Beale is like a blues joint, and you could just hear the music coming, right out the front door. And it was like, okay, where do you want to go for the Memphis Blues? I felt like you had about 20 different options up and down Beale. It's super
nice.
cool.
Were the folks friendly?
Oh, super friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You felt like you were instantly making friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember talking to 2 or 3 guys kind of at the front door, like, okay, the music sounds good, but how's the food?
Did you get good barbecue?
Yeah. If I remember, the place we went was one of and they had a lot of these where the stairs go like down. You're turning, you're like, where is this going to end?
Where are we going? We're going to the basement?
Right? Is it the cellar underneath the basement? But it was really cool. So Memphis is a town, which by the way.
You got to love a good old speakeasy.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have them there.
Yeah. So let's just talk about restarting the Turning Point USA tour. So, millions are just dealing and reeling from the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And we have seen people continue to go by the TPUSA offices right here in Phoenix from around the country and want to pay their respects. Maybe they're in town, for a different reason. But, the whole country knows that this is where Charlie called home. It's where Erica calls home. They run the whole Turning Point operation out of here. And last night, they restarted the college campus tour. And here is a little bit of what that was like.
The prophet I believe in, that just passed away, for the past couple years, has been talking about peacemaking and bridge building. And he very passionately believed that anger never persuades and that hostility never convinces anyone. But here's the connection I want to make. That is not soft. Peacemaking is not soft. It's the hardest thing you can do. And That's what Charlie understood.
How are you doing?
It's tough. It's really tough. First of all, the United States of America is the greatest country on the face of the planet.
And speaking there, by the way, was Jason Chaffetz, who happened to be on that campus at UVU when the shot rang out. And I just, emotionally, you can just sense that he has been on edge, I think, as any of us would have been to have actually witnessed something like that in person. But it was nice to see the turnout. And Des, I actually have the list of where they go from here, and it's a big...
Yeah, what's the next stop?
You know, and you got to give them credit. They're like, okay, we're going to get back on the horse, and we're going to keep moving. They're going to Bozeman, Montana. Ever been to Bozeman or to Montana?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you got to put it on your bucket list.
Okay.
It is such a beautiful town. It's surrounded by these mountains, and you got Yellowstone right
Our floor
over the
director,
hill.
Brian, loves Bozeman.
Yes, correct. So they're going to Montana State on the 9th. And then, let's see, they have North Dakota, University of North Dakota in Grand Forks on the 16th. Then some of the big schools are going to the SEC and the Big Ten. University of Oklahoma in Norman on October 21st, and Indiana University, the Hoosiers, in Bloomington toward the end of the month. So a big update, and, I've never seen anything like what we saw, Des, at the State Farm Stadium a couple of Sundays ago. The outpouring of love for Charlie Kirk, it was just a sight to see.
I mean, the stadium was almost full. It was so surreal to see all of those people.
I know.
Yeah.
Coming in from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so Erica is going to continue to take that work forward. There was a story that came in this morning that I'm nowhere near where Ty is, Des, when it comes to aviation.
Oh, he's such a whiz.
He's amazing.
He's a pilot.
But
he's
what
our
about
in-home pilot?
Yeah, what about this? Boeing is saying they're getting ready to build a whole new plane because...
Well, they've had quite the set of issues with some of their others.
Yeah, the MAX has not really worked out very well for them. And so that was the big story. Came in this morning for the Wall Street Journal. The CEO has already met with the people at Rolls-Royce. They make the engines. It's in the early stages. I bet you it takes 2 or 3 years just to plan it out and 2 or 3 more years to start building it. But they are obviously one of the more important businesses here in the U.S., so be really interesting to see what they come up with.
Well, they want to compete with Airbus. Don't they generally have those like giant planes
well,
too?
Airbus has those gigantic 380s that are the double deckers.
Right.
I don't think
and they're all not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Right. It's not going to be that route,
I got to get on one of those planes.
I've never been on one. Have you? No? All the traveling that you've done?
No, I never have.
Oh.
But I stare at them when I land at an airport.
I feel like I'm almost like they don't really exist.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have to really see that to comprehend it.
You know what does exist are these houses of terror.
Oh, yeah.
Des was
and real fear.
amazing today. If you missed it, you have got to see what was going on at the Tolleson Terror house. Des was, she was entertaining all of us in the newsroom. Check it out.
Yeah, look at this, you guys. We got a symbol of our Diamondbacks here at Terror in Tolleson, and the crypt as well. We're here with Isaac.
Correct.
You run this haunted attraction.
Definitely.
Tell us about it before we walk through.
So we're 6 attractions, one price. It's only $35 a person. You get all 6 attractions.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here, part of those 6 attractions?
So you have Asylum, you have the Slaughterhouse, you have the Crypt, Urban Legends, Sinister House.
Wow.
And Carnival Chaos.
And we just saw someone out front here. We're walking into the asylum.
Yes.
I don't like this at all.
You don't like it? Oh, this is the fun part.
And I just
fun,
had my
best time of
fourth
year.
baby, so I'm probably actually going to end up going to
Oh,
the bathroom
yeah,
myself,
got you.
but
You're
here
like,
we go.
oh, that's great. You're in first?
All right, Isaac, tell us all about it. What are we going to experience?
So we tell you to expect the unexpected. We love the jump scares. We have our actors are really trained well. They like to jump around, move faster. And they do enjoy they do enjoy the jump scares as well as this. So we have a lot of actors move up and down, crawling, back bending. They are definitely excited to be here. So they love the scare. I mean, we definitely love jump scares. We do have an extreme option. It's just more aggressive as far as us moving around, jumping spaces. It's like a carousel effect. So we start moving all over.
And on your website too, it says that you are a contact.
Hands-on,
so
yes.
What does that mean?
Light contact, we do enhance that experience and reach out, touch some legs, arms, hair. It just enhances that scare factor.
And when you say you can sign up for an extreme option, what does that mean? How do you know how to tailor?
Well, a lot of people
they
go to a lot of haunts and they're not scared, so they come here and they want what they can't get there is that scare. So they ask for extreme and we just put it on for them.
Okay. And oh God, I'm glad we're walking through here during the day. But if this were at night, obviously too, that just sets the tone.
Yes, definitely. We enjoy what we do. We love it. It's family owned and operated. We're the only one in the West Valley now. So we are the only one in the West Valley.
Oh my God.
We're almost
The Trooper of the Year award goes to this gal right here, the one and only Desiree.
For this team. I take a lot for this team.
Yeah, you do. That was amazing.
I will embarrass myself eating on camera,
yes?
and I will do haunted houses.
This is why people love you.
Oh my gosh. I don't like them. It's just not my thing.
No, I know.
It's so funny. I've obviously been through one before. I did one in high school, and then the only other time I've ever done one is when David and I started dating.
Oh,
we went through one. Yeah,
on like one of your first dates?
No, because we probably
right.
wouldn't have ended up married, because he was not going to protect me at all. Ron, this man doesn't even like watching scary movies, let alone these haunted houses. So I don't know whose idea it was to even go.
Right.
But we went and he was terrified. I'm like, okay, never again. So it's been years.
Oh, we gotta
But
say
they are
our
open
goodbyes.
now, open for spooky season.
See you next tomorrow.